Yo-Grade natural yogurt from Sterling Products Limited. Made from farm fresh cow's milk and ripe healthy fruit in flavors you like. Try them. They're delicious.
Lime, tomato, celery seasoning. Lime, tomato, celery seasoning. There we go. Bamba lamba le bama, bambe bamba lamba le bama, bambe bamba lamba le bama, bambe. All the whining starting right there. Bamba lamba le bama.
A beauty to look at, and still one of the freestanding tallest wooden structures in the world. St. George's Cathedral, a beauty to look at. And it's made of wood, still standing after, it's over 200 years old. Anyhow, welcome to another episode of Limin Vybz. It's really breezy up here, as you can feel the wind going through my microphone here, and I'm about to get blown off. We're on top of Gizmos and Gadgets, just hanging out. And today, my guest is Monica. She's going to be doing a twist on her infamous, world-renowned French toast a la Tropicana. That's what I call it. It's absolutely orgasmic with the end twist of a flambé spécial, you want to call it. I'm going to walk across to meet her now, so let's get started. Monica!
Hey!
How you doing?
Good afternoon.
Ooh, you too. How you doing?
Good to see you.
You too. Okay, so I've been telling everybody about your infamous French toast. And what's involved in this? We can get everything here, right?
Absolutely. So actually I'm doing two dishes today, don't forget.
Oh, yes, I forgot.
I have a sweet
Yeah.
and a savory dish.
Okay.
For brunch. So basically...
Savory's a salty, by the way.
Do you want to call them savory here?
No.
You might have guessed I'm not Guyanese. I am American.
She's Guyanese by, you know.
My heart is in Guyana.
Yes,
What
that's
I'll be
it.
doing actually is wherever I go, I've lived a number of places in the world, and wherever I go, I really like to take kind of my favorite dishes and then using local ingredients, give them a twist. I never like to buy ingredients that have been imported, no matter where I'm living. I try to buy as local as possible.
Exactly. That's the way.
So-
That's the whole way to do it. You know, it's
Exactly.
fresh. That's the way to go.
Fresh, the way to do it. So you're right. I'm going to do French toast, which is kind of an American, although we obviously adopted it from Europe. And then I take your delicious local bananas and slice them up and flambe them with a bit of the 5-year-old rum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's okay. It's brunch. You know, you have it after 10 a.m.
Exactly.
Rum is fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that'll be the sweet option.
Now the rum is optional, right? Because
It's optional, but the thing is, when you flambe the rum, which you'll see I set it on fire, it's very dramatic, it cooks off the alcohol. So even for people who don't drink alcohol, you're not getting any alcohol. What you get is the flavor of the rum, which
right.
we know
Sugar
you have
cane.
Absolutely, you know you
Yeah.
have amazing rum here.
Yeah.
I say 5-year-old only because, you know, you don't necessarily want to use the more expensive rum for something like this, but you're only using a small amount. So
Just to
if
get
you
the
want
flame
to use
in there.
something else, just put a splash in. We'll show you how to do it.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. And then the other one, the more savory, because again, having a sweet breakfast is a very American thing. So I know not all Guyanese like sweet things for breakfast.
Well,
so
we like our sugar cake and our sugar
of course.
pancakes and stuff. Yeah.
Well, so you have both. You have your choice here.
Yeah.
So the other one is going to be my take on Eggs Benedict. So you know,
Okay.
a classic Eggs Benedict is a poached egg on top of a ham and then English muffin with hollandaise sauce on it. Okay?
Nice.
Mine
Okay.
is a complete diversion from that. We have poached egg, which will be on top of a mango chutney.
Ooh,
Local mangoes, of
I'm
course.
liking this already.
And then we'll have bread rounds because you can't really get English muffins here. So any kind of bread would do. You could possibly do a cassava bread if you had that.
Okay. Yeah.
I haven't tried it, but I realized, Alan, I completely forgot to buy the mangoes. However, right behind us is a mango tree. So why don't you shinny on up there? I'll
That
go
I am
slice
going to
some
do
bread.
on the commercial break. I'm going to be
we can
don't
go.
record me climbing the people's mango tree, by the way. Don't get that address, you know. You'll push me up, right?
I'll push you up.
Perfect, good.
Good to go. All right, so to the kitchen.
Let's go.
right.
All right. All right. So, here we are. Thank you, Gizmos and Gadgets, for letting us use your appliances, your pottery, your everything, your kitchen. Thank you, Gizmos and Gadgets.
Thank you.
Everything you see today we're using is from Gizmos and Gadgets. So the pots and so forth, everything like that, you can get it at the store if you're interested in buying these things.
The mangoes are not from
Yeah,
Gizmos
well, we
and
kind of
Gadgets.
stole the mangoes from next door. Sorry, you lost about 6 mangoes, but it's okay. We borrowed them. We didn't steal them. We borrowed the mangoes from next door. All right. So the ingredients we're using today is we have fresh mangoes, fresh eggs. Now let's talk a little about these bananas.
I know they're kind of sad, aren't they?
And don't say they're rotten or spoiled or don't throw them away. This is perfect for making banana bread.
Exactly. So I'm really fussy about my bananas, actually. So
And we have so much varieties here.
there's so many. I love the bananas here. I mean, I'm
Totally.
hooked on the bananas here. These are actually apple bananas, which
Yes.
are my preference.
Apple bottom
but-
jeans, boots.
Exactly. But you can use anything you want. Now, what happens often is I end up having to buy a whole bunch of bananas, and I'm just me. So I buy them over the weekend, and I eat them through the week, and then the next weekend, they look like this. So then I make French toast with them. They're perfect for that. Don't throw them out. Like he says, you can make smoothies, you can make banana bread, you can make all kinds of things with them. I don't like to eat them when they're this ripe, but I mean, some people do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so bananas. So the eggs also locally bought.
Yeah.
I've got a little milk in a dish here, which was from our local milkmaid.
Yes, yeah, in the market, in Border
Exactly.
Market. Thank you for the fresh milk.
We've got pineapple, which is not necessary for this dish. We're just adding it for the fun of it because they were there and looked really
Because
good.
known for pineapples.
Exactly. Some ginger, garam masala, turmeric, butter, sugar. These are for both dishes.
And everything is local.
Yeah, and the bread from the local
sourced.
bakery.
Yep.
Yeah, everything is from here in Guyana. I don't think there's a single thing imported. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think we're all local.
Well, maybe the knives is made in a foreign country, but
Yeah, it could be. All right, so should we get started?
Yeah. Before we get started, there, just
Yeah.
want to mention that that the whole budget for this meal is going to be. What do you?
I think we just went and bought all this stuff this morning. I think honestly about $1,500 for two people.
For two people, and that's adequate enough to take over. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be a big. I mean, honestly, it's sort of two separate dishes. You can
Yeah.
certainly eat them together if you're really hungry,
Yeah.
but it's almost two complete breakfasts for
Yeah.
that
And it
amount.
could provide a family of up to
Four easily. I mean,
four
this what we're going to make today could actually serve 4 people.
Yeah, perfect.
So,
So it's very budget
Super
conscious as
affordable.
well too.
All right.
So let's get started.
right. So I've got some mangoes here.
We've pre-peeled them.
We've pre-done some of them. It's kind of your preference. I usually like to use a mix of kind of ripe and more green mangoes because you get different flavors with both of them. And as you cook them, the green mangoes will stay, as you know, a bit more together, and the ripe mangoes break down. So we've got to cut 2 more of these. You want to cut one?
Yep.
Where's your knife?
Yeah, put them over here.
Why don't you, can you peel yours? And I'm actually going to leave the skin on mine. Again, it's completely preference.
And this is Buxton spice we're using.
Okay, and you can use, again, whatever you want. So this recipe is a convergence of 2 recipes. So my mother actually learned how to make a mango chutney many years ago. So my mom always makes homemade mango chutney, which she would serve with her chicken curry.
Oh, okay.
My mother's not Indian, but my dad traveled in Asia and really loves curry, so my mom learned how to make it.
So actually, as you're saying that terminology, because in Guyana we usually use it with chutney, we usually tend to eat with like dal and rice.
Yes,
or
yes.
So this is not that though.
It's
This is
not
like a
really that.
sweet-
This is more sweet. So this is like what the jarred version was something called Major Gray's chutney that my mother made, and it was
Right.
almost like a jelly. It was a bit sweet.
Right.
Then, when I was in Trinidad for the first time, I had mango curry, and that was like a revelation. I'd
Yeah.
never had that before. So this is and I'd never had it with mangoes with the skins on, and then also with the pits. So because I'm afraid I will cut my arm off if I try to cut through one of these pits, I actually just leave them whole, and I cook them, and then you can just like suck the fruit off it once they're
Exactly.
cooked. It's really
Especially when
nice.
they're in a curry, the mango curry.
And for this particular dish, even if you normally do cut the pits up, I actually wouldn't recommend it because the way we're going to serve this, you don't want to end up with pieces of pit. So it's complete preference in terms of whether you leave the skins on or off, a mix of both, all green, all ripe. It's really, I mean, all this is about personal preference.
A little hard, not soft, not soft.
But again, if I have soft ones, I'll throw them in with it because then you get a mix of textures. I've already pre-chopped up this onion, so the first thing we're going to do is saute the onion. So I've turned this burner on to get it a bit warm, and I've got a bit of coconut oil, maybe a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. It's actually the last of my bottle. I'm gonna have to head to GNC and get some more. You can use any kind of oil, of course, but because we're here, I'm trying to keep it local. And the coconut oil does give it a nice flavor, too.
Nice nutty flavor.
With anything when cooking, you really want to layer the flavors, and coconut oil will do that here. So I'm just turning that burner down a wee bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the onions in. If you add a pinch of salt with your onions, it actually helps break them down when you're cooking them. So do that. And actually, because this is a, you know, you've got the mangoes, it's savory, but it is still a sweet dish. I really like to cook the onions for quite a while to get them really soft, almost caramelized. Otherwise, you get that pungent kind of onion taste, and that's not what I'm going for in this.
And when you cook onions, it turns sweet anyway.
Exactly. So I'm going to cook them down. All right, so these will take about 10 minutes or so to cook to that
perfect.
point.
Yeah.
So while they're cooking, why don't we take a break?
Yeah,
All right.
good idea.
Sounds good.
Perfect. We'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, so as you can see, these are starting to turn a bit brown. I'm actually, only because it's you, Alan, and you like everything really spicy, this is Alan's homemade pepper oil. I personally don't like things uber spicy, especially in the morning, but because it's Alan, I'm making him breakfast. So I put a little bit of chili oil. You can also put, I mean, some people do like really spicy food. I do, I just don't like it for breakfast, and this is still kind of brunch for me. So I think these are fine, actually.
Yeah, that looks okay.
All right, what I'm gonna do next is actually take the masala and just toast that off a little bit.
And that's about a tablespoon of masala.
Yeah, let's call it a tablespoon. We can always add more later to taste. So just cook that for a moment. One of my dear, dear friends who is Indian taught me that you should always do that. I did not used to do that. All right, and then we're gonna put our mangoes in. So this is everything. This is peels, pits, the whole mango.
The whole works.
The whole works. You want to take that? All right, so then I'm going to add about, half a cup of water or so. I also sometimes add juice instead of water, just like another layer of sweetness. And we couldn't find any pineapple juice at the market. So actually what I'm going to do today is chop up a little pineapple and put that in. All right? This is literally an impromptu step for me this morning. Spur of the moment decision. You do not have to do this. I do, like I said, sometimes like to use pine juice instead of water, or as a portion of the recipe. I use a bit of juice and a bit of water. Yep. But like I said, we just didn't have any day, and they had these beautiful pineapples. So
and Guyana's known for pineapples.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I eat so many pines every week since I've lived here. I don't know what I ever did before. I mean, I'm on a first name basis with a fruit seller down the street because I'm with her a couple times a week. She knows what I like. She knows how I like them.
Even the green ones are sweet.
Oh my gosh.
It's
and the way I just chopped up the core, you can't do that when you buy pineapples in the state. You have to cut it out. Again, you could leave these in bigger chunks, but I'm kind of going for almost a juice kind of thing. Yeah. So this is not a hard and fast recipe, and I'm sure there are women going, what is that girl doing? What kind of curry does she think she's making? This is my take on it, you know, and I'd like to think that that's allowed. All right, so we're just going to stir that up. I think it needs a little bit more water.
I'll get that for you. Oh, you
And
got
then,
it?
yeah, I got it. We're good to go. And now I'm just going to put the lid on it. Now again, because these mangoes are pretty green, it's going to take a bit longer. If they were riper, I mean, literally 5 or 10 minutes, it's done. This, we're probably looking at about 15 to 20 minutes. So let's just get the lid on it and let it do its thing. All right, so let's see how our mangoes are doing. So they're
looking really well.
Yeah. Got cooked down. You want to check and make sure they're still liquid. So I've still got some fluid down there because otherwise you'll end up burning them.
Yeah.
So if you need a little bit, add a little bit of water. We also wanted to do some, I wanted to do some ginger, some fresh ginger. So I've got a bit of ginger here. You don't really have to peel it if it's really well washed like this actually is, but I'm just peeling it because I love you. Quality. My heart is in this.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so I've got just a bit of grater here, which to me is the only way to do ginger. So again, that's something that not everyone agrees on, but so this is me. But it's still going to cook for another, little bit, so it'll get cooked off. All right, so this needs a little bit more time. I've got the water simmering there for the poached eggs, but we're not going to do those just yet. I'm thinking let's go ahead and work on our French toast.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Okay, so like I said, the mango curry, chutney thing is cooking. Just to show you what I did, so I took the bread and I cut little rounds that I've grilled off.
I do say.
Yeah, look, see? So these are it's just plain bread. You can toast it and cut it, or I just grilled it on the stove, and this is what our poached eggs will go on. So while we were waiting for the mangoes to cook, we did that. And now we'll do the French toast. This is another thing. If you have bread that has been sitting around for a couple days, or it's in the fridge and it starts to get hard, you can make French toast out of it.
Exactly.
So again, I often have bread at the end of the week that needs to be eaten. If it starts to go moldy, you don't want to do that, so I put it in the fridge to keep that from happening. I like to cut my French toast pretty thick.
Yeah, that's pretty, yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna do, again, we're doing breakfast for 2 today. Although again, it's sort of 2 breakfasts for 2.
But the way everything's smelling right now, I think we should do a little extra because it's just like, people just coming in and saying, what is that smell? It smells so good.
It's amazing. So again, it's a preference. You can cut it thinner, but you really want to soak up the egg and milk mixture. So 4 pieces, kind of the same size. This one, that one got cheated. Let's do a thicker one.
Yep.
Poor slicing on my part. All right.
And you prefer the whole loaf as opposed to the slice?
Yes, I get the whole loaf because I want them nice and thick like this.
Yeah.
So again, if you have the slice, it's not that you can't use it. It's just I like them to be a bit thicker than they do.
Right.
So I've got here about quarter cup
yeah.
to 1/3 of a cup or so of milk. We're going to do, the general rule with this is an egg a person. So I'm doing 2 pieces of toast, so I've got 2 eggs and then the milk.
Let me get rid of that for you.
Get rid of the trash, thank you. Just gonna whisk those up. And then I've got a little bit of cinnamon here. I mean, it's just a dash of cinnamon really, not even a 1/4 teaspoon, I don't think. And then where's my nutmeg? A fresh nutmeg, yes. Which anytime you've got eggs and milk,
You gotta put nutmeg.
you gotta put nutmeg.
It's like a secret weapon.
Exactly. You can actually be a bit cheeky and put a bit of rum in this mixture. I'm not going to do that today, but
Nice.
that is not against the rules. Now, I used regular milk today. You can use soy milk if you don't do dairy. You actually can, sometimes I haven't had milk and I've had apple juice in the house and I've used that and that's worked fine.
Apple juice?
Yep, and you can also just do plain egg, but then you'll need more eggs because you need to make, so for this I'd probably have to use 4 eggs.
Apple juice?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was like, you think that will work? I just used a little splash, but it was nice because it was a bit sweet.
Right.
I happen to have it.
The pectin and stuff in there, yeah.
Exactly. Let's just use this plate. I've just cut a couple pieces of pine for garnish afterwards. So we're gonna just dip the egg, or dip the bread in this mixture. Make sure it gets nicely covered.
You don't want to soak it too long because it'll just...
This is pretty fresh bread, so no. If this were stale bread, we could
let it sit for a while.
let it sit for a bit longer. Exactly. Oh my gosh, we used to do. Oh, I got shell in there. We used to do this. My mom used to do this with us when we were kids. It's so easy and fun. So you can see that just about used up.
Yep.
That was a pretty good amount.
Good average.
All right, so I've got that. I've got a burner over here. Let me just wipe my hands off. So let's get this on medium. Okay, so we have a flat grill pan here today that Gizmos and Gadgets so nicely is letting us use. If you had a larger pan like that, I mean, you could probably do this on a roti pan. You just need you just need a flat surface. Yeah, this is the ideal. I'm just saying, if you didn't have this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just gonna take a wee bit of butter, just because everything is better with butter.
I love the butter because it's all local too.
Yes, local butter. This is on about a medium heat. You want the bread to brown as it cooks, but to not burn, obviously. Right. All right, so here's our bread. Hear that little sizzle?
Yeah,
a little sizzle is good. And again, this is kind of nice, this pan, because I can put all 4 on.
Yep,
at home, I can only do, my pan's only big enough to do 2 at a time, but we've got all 4 going here. While that's cooking, woo, look at this mango, it's steaming my face.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cooking along. We'll give it a taste in a few minutes, but I want it to cook down a little more. I'm gonna add a little more water. Again, because these were greener mangoes, they're cooking for a little bit while longer. I think in my recipe I said about a 1/4 to 1/2 cup, but that's if your mangoes were riper, you would do that. But again, it's just...
to melt it out.
This is so not a science. I mean, some people say, oh, I can't cook and it's intimidating, or I don't know how to follow recipes. You cook what you love. You take the flavors, take the different things, combine them. What's the worst that could happen? Feel cooking. I mean, honestly, what is the worst that could happen here?
Leaving it and burning it.
Leaving and burning it. Aside from that, you might go, oh, that was a little bit too tangy, a little bit too tart. Maybe it's too sweet. Next time I want to use this, I want to try that. Ooh, you see that?
Nice color.
Nice. All right, I'm actually going to take them off to flip them, and I will show you why. It's just because I want to make sure that we get fresh oil and butter on this pan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it doesn't, you don't have to do this. But what will happen is one side will just be kind of crispier than the other. And I like to give both sides equal love.
Let's see.
So again, they wouldn't stick. You know, this is a non-stick pan anyway, and there's enough residual oil. It's not like they'd stick. But I want to make sure, you'll see when we flip them over. See how nice and brown and golden those are? And that's because they had all that butter. 3.
I so much prefer to use butter than margarine.
Oh, it's so much better for you. It was a big lie that margarine was somehow better for you. Now, I did use a little oil and a little butter, and that's because the butter helps keep the oil from burning. Okay, so now I've moved the mangoes back to here so we can use this stove. Again, I'm going to use just a little bit of oil. This time we're going to use lots of butter. So, okay, I'm not going to lie. Caramel is one of those things that you can mess up.
Yes.
I have messed it up a million times. Because we want this as sort of a syrup for the French toast, I've created, I think, a foolproof way of doing it.
Oh.
So you let me know what you think.
Okay.
So I'm going to work in equal parts butter, sugar, and water.
Okay.
And I'm going to put them all together more or less at the same time. Because what I found, what happens with the sugar is if I cook it too long, then I end up making candy.
Right.
It's not what I'm going for. All right, so I've got a tiny bit of oil, and then I'm looking at like 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter. All right, and then I'm going to take, oh, where's our sugar? Here's our sugar. This was about 3 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to just put that in. And then I'm also just going to put the kind of 3 tablespoons of water all at the same time, which I think might be breaking rules, but.
Yeah, because the temperature's like this, it's a sequence.
Yeah,
stages.
but this, because I want a syrup, this is how I've really found that it works, and I haven't had it turn into hard candy. See that frothing?
But that would be an interesting twist.
It would be.
Wouldn't it?
You could try it, Alan. You report back. So I'm just grabbing the bananas, which I've sliced up. Be really careful here, because this butter and sugar is going to be really, really hot. No. So I just put those in. So you can see, even though the bananas were brown, you know, these are perfectly nice. Let's see how we're doing over here. I see smoke. I think.
Steam. I call
Yeah,
it
yeah,
steam.
no, they're not burning.
Food steam. Food
All right,
steam.
so I think we can take these off.
Yeah.
So we've got one plate here, and the other plate.
Perfect.
Lovely. And then yours.
Nicely done.
We've got our little pineapple. I'm going to do a little grilled pineapple while we're at it. Okay, so now the piece de resistance.
Oh,
Now I'm not going to lie.
Really good and smelling really well too.
I am used to doing this on a gas stove. So I've got my 5-year-old rum, about 2 tablespoons. And where's our
We're using a pint of stick here.
There we go. Can you guys see that? Oh, it's
Nicely
flaming. I don't know if you
done.
can see it or not.
Nicely done.
Got flames dancing there. Now, if you do it on a gas stove, you can actually just tilt this down and it'll catch the flame. So I don't know how much you can see that, but I see flame.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Now, and again, this is a bit syrupy, but I'm putting this on French toast that I want for syrup, so it's completely fine. I don't know if you've ever had grilled pineapple, but
No, I have. It's really
it's
good.
really good.
With rub the cinnamon on it as well
Yep.
too, yeah?
Here, you want to do that? Should we do some cinnamon?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
A little bit of cinnamon. Okay, so I think these are good. Again, this is an extra step. Now, with this, I will tell you, you can actually do pine instead if you don't want to do bananas. And the other thing you can do is simatu. Is that what I was saying? No, not simatu. Sapadillo.
Sapadilla.
Sapadilla. I'm still learning your fruits. But I just did that actually this morning for myself. I did the same thing as with the bananas, but I did sapadilla instead. I sliced it up, I put them in there, and I made it with that. It was amazing. No, it didn't. I mean, it got softer than the bananas do, but
Nice.
all right. And then we just going to pour my beautiful bananas and syrup over my French toast.
Nicely
Other plate. Here we go. Careful.
Nicely done.
All right. So there we have my Guyanese American French toast.
Guy America.
Guy America. All right, so let's get that over there. And then let's see how we are doing on our poached eggs. I will warn you, poached eggs, they're tricky, okay? Especially using fresh eggs. I find that at home we always refrigerate our eggs because they've been washed. You have to refrigerate them. And when eggs are cold, that will help. These are not cold, these are room temperature. Cold eggs, I think, helps.
Yeah.
However, a trick that I did learn was a little bit of vinegar in the water. So I've just got plain vinegar here. White vinegar, just a bit of that. And I'm also actually going to put a bit of salt in the water. And this both flavors it and also I think it helps the poaching process. Now, if you're absolutely terrified and you don't want to do poached eggs, this dish can be done. You can fry the eggs. You could also do scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't, and in fact, we might crack one poached egg and decide that's how we're going to go. But I'm going to try for the folks at home to do it. When you're poaching eggs, you want the water to be like this. It's kind of simmering, but it's not bubbling. Because, of course, once it starts bubbling, you're going to end up with egg drop soup. And that's not what we're going for. I'm actually going to use this sort of spatula slotted spoon thing because if it gets stuck on the bottom, we can lift it up and then we can scoop it out. Part of the problem is we have these really amazing fresh eggs.
Fresh eggs.
So what I am going to do is I'm going to drop them into this first, and I'm going to then bring that into the water.
Okay, that's a
So,
good action.
yeah. And actually, if you have something metal, a ladle or something like that, crack it in there, and you can actually almost start to cook it.
Yeah.
All right, so here is our first egg. Now, even when I just cracked it in here, you can see the yolk broke. And that is going to be, it will be an issue only because these are fresh eggs.
I wonder if maybe perhaps if you put it in the fridge overnight, if you know you're going to.
It might be, because I am used to using with cold eggs. But
Yeah.
again, I don't think it's going to be a crisis. So I'm going to take this little cup and put this little cup in the water without burning my hands, all the way down to the water. I'm just going to drop it in like that. All right? And let's try another one. Let's see what happens as they go. Give that a crack. Gently drop it in. That one stayed nice and whole.
Good.
That one's falling apart, but that's okay. Let's give this one a try. Turning my heat up a little bit. And that one stayed whole, so I think we'll have better luck. Let's put it down in the water. And gently drop it in.
There we go.
Yeah, that one worked
That
nicely.
works. Yeah.
All right, how's our this doing?
Looking good.
All right, can you see that over
Smelling
there?
even better.
Yeah, really nice. What I've done over here are my little bread rounds, okay? So all we're gonna do to put this together is I'm gonna take a bit of this mango and put it on top of my toast, just like that. Turmeric and eggs go really nicely together. And this is going to have a little turmeric garnish, as you will see. All right, so let's see how my first egg is doing. I think we're okay. Now, these might not be the perfectly round eggs that you might have seen, but
And then the option again is available is to
yeah,
it's
you
to scramble.
can fry or
fry
scramble,
yeah.
but these taste really
Yeah,
nice.
it's so much, yeah.
It's just it's a different way of doing your eggs. That's going to be quite a runny yolk on that one. We're going to give that a second longer. We've got our turmeric over here as just a bit of a garnish. All right, I want you to taste.
Perfect.
Okay? Yeah, and see, look at this yolk. Can you see the yolk from the camera? It's just yellow. It's just soft. It's not runny, which is how I like them. You can do it. You can cook them a little bit more, but I think this was about the same. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one out. Using the fork, improvising. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, it looks so pretty. It looks so pretty.
This is a brilliant idea.
Where's my turmeric? Little pinch. Turmeric. And there, now my breakfast is ready. So we've got 2 plates of French toast. We've got 2 plates of poached eggs, and we're going to go upstairs to the rooftop and eat them.
As we do. Wow,
What have you been doing this for?
I know. You see, I already started. I couldn't even wait for the ending. So we didn't show this. This is the fourth plate. It's supposed to be all. So you probably saw three, but I couldn't wait because Monica had to beautify herself. Thank you again. Anyhow, Monica, this looks absolutely divine. Smells amazing. Time to chow.
The dishes are gorgeous, by the way.
They're beautiful.
Thank you again to Gizmos and Gadgets because
Absolutely.
these are stunning.
Yeah, I love these designs on them, man. They're really pretty.
All right, try the French toast. You haven't tried the French toast yet.
Anyhow, so get your kids involved, get your family involved. It's a beautiful brunch dish to do. And so let me know your feedback if you do try this dish. Bring over some friends. It's very simple to make. Check us out on Facebook, Limin Vybz, LIMINVYBZ, and let me know your feedback. Until then, ciao, bon appetit, and
Orgasmic?
Going to church. Not church. Ciao, everybody.
Bye. Huh?
Lime, tomato, celery, seasoning, lime,
can't hear you.
tomato, celery.
They're all gonna know how to make this.
There we go.
Cut.
Get this flaming, and then it should just not do that.
This is my friend Rihanna. Hi, Rihanna. Say hi.
Alan.
Oh, yeah.
Yogurt, natural yogurt from Sterling Products Limited, made from farm fresh cow's milk and ripe healthy fruit in flavors you like. Try them. They're delicious.